Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. Please visit our website, cscatlanta.org, for a complete list of live and recorded events. We invite you to sign up for our newsletter to stay connected to all future programs.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Mike. We're going to be making some really fun Irish-inspired recipes today, and this is...
I'm Savannah, one of the oncology dietitians with Northside, and I won't be standing up here. I'll be sat in this chair in the corner, but I'll be here for questions, comments along the way, so we'll kind of tag team it, but he's the star of the show today alongside our salmon.
We appreciate having you. Thank you.
Good to see you all.
Awesome. Okay, guys, welcome. So today we are going to make a curried salmon salad, and we are using... Lauren asked me to do something with salmon today. So we just did fresh salmon a couple months ago. So we are going to play around with canned salmon today. I think your invitation said cooked to perfection. This is cooked to perfection, right? We had to get you here. Those are good words, enticing words, right? So we're also going to make this Irish soda bread. So yeah, this is adapted from Serious Eats. If you haven't checked out their website, they do a lot of really amazing research on recipes, and they tell you why something works, why something doesn't work, right? Has anyone ever made soda bread? A couple people. Do you like it? Do you like the way it turns out? Yeah. You didn't like the way yours turned out. Okay. Well, I have played around with it a couple times. I've used different recipes. I've used eggs. I've used, all sorts of things. But this recipe, it's really, really good. It's really good. It gets a nice crust, right? It has a good texture. It has a good chew on it. I added raisins. Raisins weren't part of the recipe. But what I didn't do was mess around with the ratios. And that's where this recipe really stands out, and it's a winner, right? So if you look at the baking soda and the buttermilk, for once here, I'm going to measure stuff today. So I'm actually going to measure these ingredients because it works, right? This recipe works if you follow the recipe. And it's really simple, guys. It's flour, kosher salt, baking soda, and buttermilk, right? We're going to add raisins just for funsies because I like raisins in my soda bread. But it's really easy. It takes a couple minutes just to mix it up and then pop it in the oven. The baking time is about 45 minutes, I think. 450 degrees. Yeah, cover and bake for 45 minutes. And then what you do after 45 minutes, you take that lid off, and then you bake it for 15 more minutes, or 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven. If you actually go to the website and look at his recipe, he uses a cast iron skillet, right? Like that, about that deep, and puts a lid on top of it and bakes it in a cast iron skillet. So he makes his in a bully shape, so it's round, and it's really nice. That way you get more of that crusty kind of thing, and I like that. One, I forgot my cast iron skillet, and two, it's really heavy to carry 2 cast iron skillets in and out. So we're going to use a bread pan, but the bread pan works just fine, and we'll cover it in some foil, and that will work just fine. Any questions on this? So we're gonna do that real quick. I've already baked some off, as you can see it over there. Because I didn't want you waiting, and I don't like to promise to give you something, and I can't deliver. So it does take a little time, and I baked them off ahead of time, so we're all set. Yes?
Do you think it would work with gluten-free flour the same?
We were just talking about that before we started going live. So I looked that up because I knew that question was going to come up, and it looks like it does. Yeah, what it looks like happens is it gets more crusty, like misshapen and maybe not quite as brown, but from the one that I looked up, it looks like it gets super, super crusty. I don't know what the inside looks like, I don't see why it wouldn't work. you may not get as much rise on it. Some of those gluten-free flours also have built-in leaveners too, so that could help. If you buy the gluten-free with the leavener in it, that would probably help get more. Okay? So let's dive in and make that real quick, and then we'll move on to the star of the show. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to measure out some all-purpose flour, 3 cups. So what I like to do is I'll put all my dry ingredients in here first, right? And then we will add our buttermilk. 3 cups, right? Yeah. 3 cups, this will make you 1 loaf. Or, okay. There's our flour. We're done with that. All right, next up is our kosher salt. So that's calling for 1 3/4 teaspoons. Have some kosher salt there. 1/4 teaspoon. Then we have our baking soda, 1 1/8 teaspoon. Yep, 1 1/8 teaspoon. Don't mess around with it. It works. It's a good one. Okay. And then we're going to add 2 1/4 cups of buttermilk after we go ahead. We're going to mix that up a little bit.
Chef, you have low-fat buttermilk listed. Could
Yeah.
you do full-fat, or
You
would
could.
I mess with it?
You could.
Okay.
Yeah. I find it hard sometimes to find full-fat buttermilk. So we're doing 2 1/4 cups. So I mixed that up, right? Two and a quarter cup. Okay. So what we're going to do now, so if you read this, it says combine flour, salt, baking soda in large bowl, whisk to combine. Stir in the buttermilk and fold until dough is fully moistened. And that's it. Stop. Don't keep mixing. We don't want to do that because the recipe says so. Right? The trick is with this thing, from what I understand, we want to get this, we want to get it mixed, get it in a pan, get it in the oven. Let it do its thing. And you'll get a really nice, you'll get a nice rise on it. But I'm just mixing it until all the flour has been moistened with the buttermilk. Yep, you can throw those in too. You're supposed to tell me that. That's your job. Okay. Any questions right now?
On the raisins, you use, I guess, regular,
Yep.
but golden or whatever.
Yeah, funny you say that. I used golden raisins this morning when I made it. Any kind of raisins, any kind of dried fruit, if you wanted to. Okay, that looks pretty good. So then what we do, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just line the bottom of this pan with some parchment paper. I need to find some foil. We don't have foil. We're going to use parchment paper. So what I do, there's a little flour on the bottom. Just want to make sure all that flour has been moistened, correct. All right, then we're going to pour it right in here, spoon it in. Just like that. And parchment paper just helps you in the end. Then you just, when it comes out of the oven, you're just going to flip it over. It'll pop right out. Let it cool, and you're all set. Yep, it can last for a couple days too. Nothing wrong with that. It's going to lose its like crunchy top, you know, which is what the part I like the most, is that crispy, crunchy. All right. There we go. And we'll just put this on the top. We're going to go in here. We're going to set our timer. Bear with me. 45 minutes. And we're good. And then out of the oven comes that. So that's what it looks like. Yeah. Just that fast. Yeah. It's really nice. Yeah. And then the inside. Yeah, this one has golden raisins in it, but you can see the inside. Let me see if I can get the camera up there too. Bear with me here. No, that's not going to work. All right, the right side's not working. Sorry. There you have it. Okay? And we'll cut that up for you guys. Okay. Questions on that? So easy, right? Yeah. When I do it? No, when you do it too. You can do this stuff. Who said that? Come on. No, that's what Savannah asked. Is it necessary to use low fat? No, you can use full fat. Yep. I put it in the middle rack. Yeah, I didn't find much difference. That's a good question. Where do you place it in the oven? It didn't really matter. I had them all over the oven. I've made this a couple times already, and it didn't really, you're not going to notice a difference. Okay?
You didn't score it either.
I didn't score it, no. I don't score that, no. But you can score it.
Is there a reason?
So scoring it, you're just going to get more of that crunchiness in through the bread. Okay? What else? Good? Good question. Okay. All right. Curry salmon salad. Yeah, so Lauren asked me to do a salmon recipe. I didn't want to use fresh salmon again, so it is St. Patrick's Day month sort of thing going on. So we know we eat salmon in Ireland. We wanted to use canned salmon. I also like the idea of curry. So this recipe, I've used this for so long with chicken. I've used it with salmon as well. Here's what I like about this recipe, and especially with this salmon salad. What is fun is it reminds me of when I make a muffin. I think about what's in the muffin and then just a little bit of batter around it because I want to eat the things in the muffin and not really just the bread, right? So the salmon, if you think about it, you can add all these, what I like is all those crunchy things like apples and celery and the nuts. And that makes the salad really interesting, right? And then you have a little bit of that canned salmon. What I don't want is to have more salmon than all the other things, right? So it's okay to even, from my recipe, to add. If you want to add 2 apples, you can add 2 apples. You can add more raisins. You can add more celery, right? We've kind of zeroed in on how much mayo we want versus the salmon for a good texture, plus the mustard. But all those other things, those are up to you, right? I gave you guidelines, as always, on recipes, but feel free to experiment and experiment with other things, other dried fruits that you want in there. That can be nice. Now, in Ireland, we know in England we eat a lot of curry, but in Ireland, they also eat a lot of curry, right? But their curry is just a little bit different. Typically, their curry has more raisins and apple type things, right? They eat fries. I think they call them crisp. And they make this curry sauce that they pour all over top of it. It reminds you of the Canadian version of poutine. Yeah, thank you. It reminds me of poutine. So the curry goes all over the fries. It's like a sauce. But anyway, so this has traditional sort of Irish vibe to it with the apples and the raisins. We're also going to add celery. We're adding a little bit of mustard and honey just because I like to help. It helps bring the whole salad together. The curry. So we're going to add the curry. You guys have been here when we toast our spices, right? We talked about toasting. I know in here we've toasted cumin seeds and different things like that. That's great for, you're going to grind them up and things like that. The curry here, we're going to bloom it, and we're going to use just a little bit of olive oil in a skillet. We're going to heat it up and add some fat to the spice. It'll just help get it more adapt for the salad, right? Instead of taking dry curry powder and just shaking it in there, we want to add some fat to it, loosen it up, get it going, and it'll make a really nice dressing for you. What else in here? Salt and pepper, and that's it. Little lemon zest, lemon juice. The salmon itself, I don't know. Have you guys looked at salmon lately in the store? Number one, fresh salmon. We were talking earlier about salmon in California. They're struggling right now because of wildfires, so the water temperature is going up. And that's really harming a lot of the fresh salmon, which is also in the trout family. We know that if you trout fish, you don't want your water temperature to get above 67 degrees because that's really hard on the fish. So I trout fish, and I don't do a lot of it in the summertime because the water gets too hot, and it really stresses fish out. So anyway, all that being said, back to canned salmon. So there's so many different varieties of salmon. Some packed in oil, some packed in water. We have a dietitian here to help us sort through all that. Some have more sodium than others. This label doesn't look too bad, right? This is Kirkland Signature, so courtesy of Lauren and Costco. Shout out to Costco. So this is good. So you're going to ask, there's bones in here, right? We're familiar with that. You guys eat canned salmon? You ever open up it? It has a lot of bones. Those bones are okay to eat.
And an excellent source of calcium and collagen as well.
And what?
Collagen.
Collagen, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Those collagen powders that are really popular right now are so expensive, but I think your body actually absorbs it best from something like a salmon or a sardine bones even.
Mm-hmm. Can we use smoked salmon? Absolutely. In fact, I bought some smoked salmon that we're going to play with because I go to the store and I'm thinking, okay, I'm making this tomorrow, and then I saw that and I'm like, I want to experiment too. And you guys always know I experiment with you guys. So we're going to check this out and see what that's all about.
Is that salmon packed in oil or water?
This salmon is packed in, I believe, water. Yeah.
It's just salmon and a little bit of salt in that one.
Yeah. So we're going to open these up. I do drain the water out of there.
Since we're talking about how salmon is a little more limited right now, we all know that eggs are a little bit more limited at the moment. But a breakfast tip, because I know many of us are avoiding the processed meats at breakfast with the colorectal risk. So what you can do is combine eggs, like maybe just do one egg with canned or the smoked salmon. And that's really good either as a scramble or on an avocado toast as a good protein alternative.
Thank you. That's really cool. Okay, so we're going to make, what we're going to do first, we'll take I think I gave you directions for that. Now I can just cook however I want to. I don't have to measure anything, no. So we're going to put some of that in there. No, it can be vegetable oil. Does it have to be olive oil was the question. The answer is no, it does not.
Is that curry that you have right
It is. Yep. Don't mind me. There we go. All right. Smells good. Okay. Tablespoon. You can smell it right away. Yep. It doesn't take much. Just a little heat. You can do this way ahead of time and keep it, and you're all set. Okay. We're going to make the dressing first. So I like to make the mayo first. So I called Lauren. Lauren called me yesterday and said, "Hey, I have mayo. If you're not picky about your mayo." I said, "No, I'm not picky about my mayo." So, yeah, wow. Okay, thanks, Lauren. So here we go. Here we go. That's all right, though. This is Kraft mayo. I'm not picky about my mayo, but I kind of am. I like Duke's mayo, to be honest with you. Yep. I grew up in a Hellman's family. My grandparents used Miracle Whip, so I got the experience of everything. All right. So there we go. We don't need a ton. That's a quarter cup. All right, quarter cup of that. Dijon, 2 tablespoons. Okay. Honey, 1 tablespoon. Yep. Then we're going to add, okay, now we add the fun stuff. The apple, the celery, the nuts. This is really easy to make. Make it a day ahead if you want. Keep it refrigerated. I did. Added the honey. Mix that up. Have a celery. Rib. I don't cut the celery too big. So I just take 1 rib and then I'm going to score it down. And then dice that. I don't know. If you don't like celery, don't add it again. This is your recipe. You can do whatever you want with it. More apples. Some people like more onion. I like these celery hearts. The inside, I chop up the leaves. No, they are not bitter. They taste really good. Okay. Apple. You can use any kind of apple you want. I think this is a Honeycrisp apple. I'm going to just dice that up. That one I leave a little bigger just because that's what I like. But it's your recipe. Did anybody make the recipe from last time? Oh man, what are we doing? What did we make last time? What did we make? The chili crisp. Oh, yeah. No, we made the beet. Yeah, the beet pasta. You guys didn't make that? You made it. Very good. All right. You made chili crisp. We're making progress. Okay. You guys have to make this stuff. All right. How did you? Oh, yes. Kip was on the TV show. It got cut to 2 minutes instead of 4 minutes. You know, and there's a lot of work involved. You know, there's a lot of like all her pre-prep and things like that and planning for that. So I think the consensus is if they want to do it again, they need to come to us rather than packing all that stuff up and trying to go do a show. It's a lot of work, you know, even doing demos and stuff like this, there's a lot of pre-prep and behind the scenes stuff that happens that people don't think about. But yeah, for a show like that, it's easy to get cut down really fast, and I think that's what happened. It was really good, really good. She did a good job. And it's a lot of fun to do stuff like that. Okay, green onion, I use the whole thing. I do trim the white part. I cut it in half. And then I just mince that up. That recipe, by the way, when you, I think it's a 14.5 ounce, yeah, can. I wrote 1 can of salmon. I mean, salmon just comes in all different sizes as far as cans go. So if you want to jot that down, you can. Do some almonds.
This recipe has a lot of fiber in it with all of these plants he's chopping up. The almonds, the apple, the celery. So even though it's a salad and it looks a little lighter, it should be pretty filling between the fiber and the healthy fats from the salmon.
That's awesome.
If you want even more of the omega-3s that are in the salmon, you could also swap the almonds for walnuts. These are one of the highest sources of omega-3s from plants.
Walnuts are higher than in omega-3s. Is that?
High,
Yeah,
yes.
higher.
Not
Okay.
higher, but yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Walnuts. I like walnuts. But I like almonds in here. I don't know why. As a chef, you get into these routines and things in your life, and you cook, and you start to like a certain thing and a style, and that's what happens. Okay. And we're gonna add our curry. Surely you guys can make this. This is an easy recipe, right? Okay. We're gonna zest this. I like it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as a dietitian, how do you feel about vegetable oil? You mentioned that as an option.
Yeah, so I do prefer taste-wise and fatty acid composition-wise an avocado or an olive oil. Vegetable oils can be fine in moderation as well. They also have some of those healthy fats. They're kind of in the news right now, but we're mostly looking at making sure we're cutting down on certain oils when they're in processed foods. That intake can get pretty high when you're eating a lot of processed things that have vegetable oil in them, like even wheat thins, all these different things you wouldn't expect have them in there. And so what can happen is the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6 in our diet can get thrown off. And so we kind of want to counteract that by choosing more of the omega-3 fats when we can.
Lemon juice. Lemon zest. I like lemon in here, as you can tell. Then we're just gonna, did I get everything? Mustard, honey, apple, celery, raisins, green onion, raisins. Where did my raisins go? In my bread, good one, yeah. That's exactly where it went. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the dried fruit. Anything works. If you want to use the dried cranberries, those are nice too. Quarter cup. Okay. And that 1/4 cup is just my guess, whatever you want. Again, you can add more if you like. Okay? And we're just going to mix that up. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of fiber.
Yeah. Also a lot
As
of
you are.
antioxidants as well. The raisins have a good bit. Celery does. Really, the curry even is pretty high in antioxidants as well. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck with this recipe.
All right. Hear that? Okay. There's our salmon. So, comes out. That's pretty nice. There's no skin on that one. Some of the salmon you buy will have skin on it. It's okay. I use that. This one doesn't even have a lot of bones in it. And then I just take my hands. Thought that was my bread alarm. All right. There we go. What I don't want to do is mix this thing so much that the salmon disintegrates. It's already very tender. And we have this smoked salmon that we decided we're going to use. This is going to be good. Yeah, that's nice.
Someone may have asked if there was oil in the smoked salmon, and I was answering for the other one. Do you know if that was
It has oil.
that was oil?
Yeah. It smells.
How much salmon is that? You said 1 can.
Yeah, so that's 14. The recipe would be ideal for 14 and a half ounce can. This smoked salmon is just a bonus. But we don't follow recipes, do we? No. Except when I'm baking, that's right. Okay, I think we're going to add a little green onion to this as well. That's really nice. It's not overly fattening with the mayo. Oh, I did add the green onion already. You're right. Okay.
So you didn't actually add that smoke powder or whatever you had?
I add the curry.
Oh, in the curry?
We bloomed the curry. We added that. That's why it's nice and yellow. Yeah, it looks really good. You may need salt and pepper, right? Let me try that real quick. But with the smoked salmon, that might help. So, that's good. Okay. Okay, so we made soda bread. It's baking. No questions on that. You guys are going to make that tonight. And then the salmon salad. That's really good with that smoked salmon in there, by the way. That was just a tin of that. You may want to write that in your notes. I would do that. Yeah. That's really solid. Any questions on that? Yes.
So I was wondering if instead of mayonnaise, don't shoot me,
I won't shoot you.
Greek yogurt,
Yeah, why not?
the texture is similar.
Yeah, texture is similar. It's really good. It'll be more tangy. In fact, it worked. You know, I work at a hospital. We make a chicken salad. Not exactly. It doesn't have nuts and things like that, and it's not curry. But we do use to lower the fat because it's a low-fat salad. We take part of the Greek. We use part Greek yogurt in there. And it works. It works really well.
Ratio, same amount.
I would for this recipe. I would just use the Greek yogurt in place of the mayo. I wouldn't change it. Yeah. Greek yogurt works really, really well in salads like that. That's a good question. Yes.
Does this recipe work well with a can of a tuna?
Yeah.
Instead of
I assume. Yeah. I've never made it curry tuna, but yeah, if you like tuna, go for it. It would work really well with chicken. Obviously. Yeah. 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 Okay. That's it? All right, let's eat. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If you're interested in other live or recorded programs, please visit the online program tab of our website, cscatlanta.org, or follow us on Facebook. We'll be sharing additional information on upcoming programs.